All right, and uh, Blarg Zombie, you are here first. Can you tell me is the webcam like is the bit rate, I guess is what they call it, coming in okay? Um, or uh, or is it just lagging constantly? I honestly can't tell. Um, it it looks fine. I mean, obviously there's the lag between. Okay, sure. Can and you can hear me fine because this is day zero. This is the first time trying any of this. Um, I did some test recordings and they seemed fine. But now that it's actually live and everything's going on, I don't know. Um, all right, so getting started with just I'm gonna be streaming what I normally do, which is working on the game and trying to code, design, and develop. Um, as you know, Blarg, currently in Act Two, working through the different. Act Two has a lot of branching paths, and we're currently in kind of like a space fighty path where there's a three mission string where you have a lot of the center row cards are unique center row cards where they correspond to actions your ship can take, um, and and you're fighting a lot of high armor ships, which the idea is you buy up the center row cards to get through the armor, and and that way it's like your ship's fighting, right? So like your normal small arms stuff doesn't do much against the ships, but it does lead to some funny situations, like you know Dan's punch attack can theoretically scale infinitely. So there is the idea that he can just punch a spaceship to death, which is fun. And as always, orbital laser essentially says kill anything at deal 1,000 damage. None of the ships have more than 1,000 health, though they're getting close at this point. Yeah, or stacking up 100 anchors. I like the idea that you can break through the ship's armor with shenanigans, right? But there is a more traditional, you got cards in there that you can buy to break through the armor naturally. And currently I'm finishing up I'm on the last fight of that, which is against a space mech that has a bunch of shenanigans that just starts in play. I imagine it's going to be a pretty hard fight because it just starts with a bunch of stuff in play. Uh, but it'll be interesting, especially since in Act Two there's a lot of if you kind of get stuck on a path, you can go down a different mission path. So I imagine by the time you're getting into I'm okay making these harder to begin with, because there's a lot of maneuverability where if you get stuck, you can, you can go and do something else. So I had just finished programming and coding all of the different mech parts that flop into play at the very beginning. Um, they should work now, which actually means, okay, so they work now, which means I need to get them into play, which happens at the start of match script, which is right here. This is the big, giant, behemoth, unwieldy script that kind of decides all the stuff at the start of matches. Not quite as big and unsightly um, as the end turn script, but it's getting there. It definitely it's one of the scripts where I definitely feel like I have no idea what I mean, like it works, and I know the organization of this, but it's just this big unruly thing that just goes on like a giant checklist of things at the start of the match. It feels like there has to be a better way to do this, but it's been working. So, and at this point, I don't really have time to to like go deep and figure out like a different way. or even kind of like know exactly where to look for that, because it's such a specific thing, right? Like every part of coding and gaming is trying to solve such a specific problem. Whereas, you know, if you come at this having like a computer science degree and angle, you have that toolbox where you can approach a lot of different problems. But me coming through, you know, doing this as a hobbyist for, you know, a decade plus, there's never quite been that feedback loop of anyone who actually knows what they're doing, being like, what in God's name are you doing? So that means adding the current mission to the Star of Match script, which is, I'm so bad at remembering why I name anything. Yeah, fight the space mech. That seems about right. And so this is where all of the space mech's gonna come out one by one. Do I want to have it in a particular? I definitely want the cockpit to be one of the two middle cards. I know, and this was back in the old version of the game. I had the previous mech, which has 5 parts, come out like symmetrically, but that looked a little better when you could have 5 enemies on the screen, and that made sense. I didn't change it, but definitely looks, you know, there's no reason to do like a symmetrical thing like that. Whereas you're gonna have the 4 spots in the 4 spaces. I think there's something that feels right about having the cockpit in the middle, but there's no technical reason, right? Like it's not because like the cute thing. Well, I could even do it here. Like the really cute thing is maybe I could have like Becco Mon have like art that goes across like all 4, but I feel like that's asking for a lot. Here he has a decent amount on his plate as is. But I don't know. I should talk to him about it, honestly. I don't have a good reason why I'm not. So, alright. So, first thing with Grain NEME is doing the little enters play animation. And yeah, I know. These are magic numbers for where they appear, and I really should have these be variables, but that's constantly there's magic numbers everywhere here, and up until this point exactly, no one's ever had to look at these magic numbers except me, and it's not been a problem. But I mean, obviously you can just counter with, oh, at some point you're going to want to change, like the whole formatting of everything's going to change, and you're going to want to change where exactly the enemies come on the screen, and then at that point it's like, oh yeah, these magic numbers are awful. You have like 100 different places where you have very specifically where the enemies come in the screen, and now you have to change all of them, which then the argument would be, why aren't you changing them now, right? Just pull off the Band-Aid now and not have it later. And I don't have a good answer for that. My answer for that is I'm busy doing the thing I'm currently doing, which is adding these mech parts to show up. And, you know, however long it's going to take me to turn all of that into variables that can more easily be changed. Like, who knows? If I stop and try to do that calculation between time save now, time save later, I'm gonna be here all day doing just that. I'm gonna be here all day just talking about that. Let alone, you know, I don't have the time for that, right? It's already taking too long to make these missions, because every mission I'm just making new like enemies that do new things, and it's all taking way too long when you know, I don't have the time for that. I just need to be going. So there's magic numbers. There's magic numbers here. There's magic numbers a lot of places. It's not great. All right, let me pull up list of what these enemy mech parts are even anyway. All right, first off, the sword arm is gonna come out. That's the one that kind of pierces through the shield generator and is the bit more of a straightforward damage threat. So yeah, so just the main way any enemy gets added to the field is you have you create the little animation of the drawing. You create the actual object, which is the enemy card, and then you add that to the player's enemies list, and then kind of the frames that hold the enemies manage all of that by themselves. They don't, you don't need any more added to that. And in this case, I'm gonna need that 4 times for each of the individual mech parts. Yeah, I'm definitely running into, I'm already thinking ahead to what I'm going to do after that, which is I'm going to need to test this at some point. And I'm already running into the problem of like, so I just recently added in a way that you can, that while testing, I can skip ahead to missions. So I don't literally have to, I do have it set up so I can just win through missions. But even then, the game's getting long enough that just clicking through, winning through missions it takes long enough. I needed something different, so I set up a way that I can skip ahead to missions. But like none of my guys have like there's a hard way to replicate naturally gaining the cards over time for that. I have another tool where I can just give myself the materials needed to get like the gear in the game, and that helps a little bit, but doesn't do a good job of replicating like the individual cards you're gonna pick up like as the game goes on. There's no real way to do that except to quickly win through the missions and build up a card pool. But that by itself, that's already saying that's like 15 minutes. Well, maybe not 15 minutes, but it's close to 15 minutes just to even get to a mission. I need a better way. I probably one of these days, it's gonna be a tool building day. I'm just gonna build a bunch of tools so I can customize all the decks however I want, and that way I can just test these. I don't need to spend 15 minutes every time I want to test a mission clicking through all the previous missions just to build up a card base. Because the more I think about it, the more being able to just skip ahead to a mission, well, that works for some of the more like technical stuff. It really doesn't capture like being able to like play test the mission. Right, and in that sense, it's hard to play test any of these missions because it's all so built up of what items and cards you got previously. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just need to make a bunch of playtest tools for myself one of these days, where I can add any card I want to any of the decks, and really just hone down on what I actually think your average player is going to have at any point. And see through it. I mean, obviously, I am still going to do full playthroughs. Probably at least once a week now. And I have one of my good friends is playtesting pretty much once a week now, which is invaluable, especially since he always finds a bug too. Which, while that's personally annoying, is good. I'd rather bugs be found by him than thinking I don't have any and trying to ship with that. All right, so there was a sword arm, now shoulder rockets. See, this is also my fear. I started doing this, or I'm doing this now, to kind of keep myself accountable for coding at least 8 hours a day on this, because that's the minimum I need to do if I have any hope of shipping this. But there's also the chance I'm just gonna be here rambling. Which ironically is just to myself, basically at this point. Blarg, you might still be around, but I definitely this definitely might be as much of a hindrance as it is a boon. I don't know. At the very least, at least this is making me justify all of my actions to myself. even if like the magic number stuff, it's like, yeah, I know I should have done this differently from the beginning, but whatever. I don't have the I don't have the time or brain space to go back and fix it now. We're just committed, and if I ever have to move where the enemies spawn from, I'm screwed. I mean, I'm not screwed, but like that's a day. That's like almost a whole day of just hunting down all the different times I have this exact line of code, right? When that should be, when those should just be variables and everything would be fixed. All right. All right. So I think having the two weapons, the cockpit, and then the booster jets, yeah, that has a bit of a symmetry to it. That's nice, and obviously at this point, I never the old mech fight got grandfathered in, but I never want to spawn more than 4 things at this point, just because that's how many enemies can be on the screen before you start to have scrolling. The scrolling's fine; it works. I don't like the force to have to use it though. I like you to, especially if I'm creating an encounter. I want you to be able to see everything right away. I don't want you to have to start off scrolling. And so yeah, what else is going to have to be done after I add all of these mech parts at the beginning? Not much, because the victory condition is the cockpit. That's coded into the cockpit. Once it dies, you complete the mission. So that means the game should handle most of that stuff by itself. I'm always obviously surprised constantly, but did I not add this third mech part to? I did not. That is just not paying attention. Which is where most of my bugs come from anyway. Alright, whoa. Ignore that desktop flashbang for a second. Alright, so that was to the start of the mission. There's nothing set up for the end of the mission. Like, I know at the very least, I want this mission to award out some of the currency of basic, the currency for the game. Have fun with your errands, Blard. I hope those go well. But I don't know. I ended there's kind of a 3-mission jungle section that ends with a pretty cool payout. So I definitely want it to. I should think of that, like of something cool to pay out with. I don't want it to be another mech, because you already have the mech previously, and I don't know if I'm going to circle back around. I'd like to circle back around and maybe do one last space mission toward the end of the game, but I don't know for sure I'm going to do it. So maybe just a larger basic payout. I'm not sure. Obviously, this is also where I run into the problem of the cooler thing I add means more work. Oh, that is not work. Well, I mean, I guess this doesn't really matter, but for code consistency's sake, I'm not sure. I could spend a while thinking about that, and that's one of those problems that's good to think about when not like literally at the desk and coding. Like that's like a shower problem, right? When I'm waking up being like, what's a cool reward I can add to the end of that mission? I feel like not literally looking at the code is one of the better places to think of that. So that should all be added in. There's no ending dialogue, but that should be fine. Technically, the mission should be working. I'm gonna double check that I added the mission to the pool during when you complete the previous mission in the chain. I think so, but I'm gonna double check before I fire up a build and just see how it eats. A little tempted to do a full playthrough, just just to do one on stream. Um, yeah, that's probably that probably can't hurt. Um, worst case scenario, someone comes in and being like, this is a game dev stream. Why are you doing playing a game? Well, it's the game. Yeah, here we go. That's it getting added. Um, yeah. I don't know quite how to say that name. Yothanet. But yeah, this is Game Maker. I've been using Game Maker as a hobbyist for a very long time, and it's it's always been as a hobbyist. I've never been a professional computer science person or a professional game developer, but this game got kickstarted, and so I'm in it now. I'm full time working on this till it's done. Um, so I'm gonna do a playthrough up to the mission I just finished. Oh yeah. I thought it would be easier to like kick those, but like to bring up my stream controls, I have to like literally bring up like OBS. Let's see. Is there just like a kick here? What? I am learning many things at the same time. Um, is there review recent raids? Show moderation actions. I guess it's good. It's showing moderation actions, but I would like to take one. Yeah. This is Game Maker, Yothanet, if you can hear me. Uh, this is the latest version of Game Maker. So booting up a build of the game right now, and putting it. I guess I can just reply. In case he can't hear me. Oh, interesting. Can I just take mod actions like on my phone? Would be great if I could. Oh yeah, I can. Awesome. Well, that's convenient. I can just take mod actions on my phone. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now, but I think Game Maker is really good too. I've been using it for a very long time. Once again, as a hobbyist. But it kind of just for 2D games, which has really been the only type of games I've been interested in making. Just does everything you want. You can get games up and working very very clean, very easily. Yeah, let's interesting. Let me wonder how the sound is on this. I guess I should have tested this beforehand. Wonder if the sound's coming through. I'm gonna do a quick sound check, and see how the game sound is. I've been using it for a very long time. Once again, as a hobbyist. All right, lag makes that not really doable. So I'm going to just have normal game sounds, and Yeah, because by the time I can see it on my phone, it's already lagged out. So just gonna do a playthrough of the game. For those of you who's never seen the game, this is a sci-fi RPG with a deck builder element. If you've ever played like Ascension or like Marvel Legendary, that's what's going for. And then, you kind of play your cards that's probably too loud. That give you like resources, and you can buy cards to add to your discard pile. Then eventually when your deck runs out, your discard pile shuffles up, and it becomes your new deck. The interesting idea here for me is adding, having the idea of combining like a squad-based RPG with it. And so go ahead. First mission can sometimes actually be tricky, which is, I like it because it kind of does have to make you think like right away. But that the kind of general idea is that you can go. If you just make sure to buy scout aheads like right away, and know at some point you do have to buy some damage. It's not too bad, at all. Especially with if you take Shia, the fish person, she adds a damage every turn you don't play an attack. So usually your slashes can just kill these basic guys out here, and generally should be very beatable. But I also want to give a lot of room to for people who because I don't really have a tutorial, and that's by purpose. I want to just give people the chance to like mess around and just like take actions and see what happens and not get punished too hard. And I don't think this first mission does. It's random because I did want to treat it like how Emmy's Pier is random. It escalates as it goes on and it is tailored from mission to mission. But it's not, there can be big swings. Like, for example, there's a 25% chance an Emmy doesn't appear. And if that happens a lot of turns in a row, that's a big deal, as opposed to, you just never hit that 25% chance, like 4 turns in a row. And then you just have missions, Emmys all the time, where normally maybe you wouldn't. But most of the time you can get through this pretty quickly. Alright. Sure. So this is when someone levels up, they get a new card which can get added to their deck. I tend to add, as you'll see me play through it. I'm a big fan of cards that cycle, which is another way to say cards that draw a card. I'll often praise those pretty highly. And I don't want that to be the correct answer all the time, so I do look, I do try to constantly balance that and not just have it be like, oh, always pick the card that says draw a card. But I don't know, there's something about drawing cards that feels good. So I do like the cyclers and the cantrips, another word all for the same stuff. It's all old Magic terms, which is old D&D terms borrowed by Magic. I like, there to be something there where you can, I like the draw cards to be powerful because it feels good to just draw a bunch of cards. You just don't want that to be like every turn, where like every turn is just you're drawing your whole deck. that isn't fun. So at this point you have the downtime where you can talk to the different people, and it's X talks to Y's. You can either have Dan or Shia. I wanted to give an alien and not alien person to give different perspectives on things. Talk to one of the people. Most of the time here when I'm testing, I'm going to be going through this very quickly because I'm not, this isn't a playing through my game stream. This is I'm trying to code and get stuff done stream. But for this right here, for this kind of just test stream anyway, I'll go through it and show
Rose, you dropped and left your toothbrush in my sleeping
show
tank.
show off a little bit of the voice
Again,
acting, and then just kind of show the a little bit of my writing, which I mean all of this is.
Turned off so I could listen to your natural language. It's so pretty. Reminds me of how dolphins communicate. They were a sea mammal on Earth.
It is probably no coincidence. My language is a superior form of communication through water. Wait, do you still have your translator off? Can you understand me?
Yeah. I can understand you.
No, don't do that. It sounds worse than nonsense.
Sorry. Just trying to truly understand you. That's all.
Now, about that toothbrush.
What toothbrush?
Here's the place I found. Looks like we ditched the patrols, too. This should be a good place to set up camp and plan our next move.
We shouldn't be planning on staying too long.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to... I am trying to test the level I just built, so I don't necessarily... I just have time to play through the game. Most of this is part of the demo, which is on itch. But that demo is actually pretty outdated at this point, because just because that was before the party mechanic. A lot has changed since the itch demo that's currently up. So I mean, if anyone ends up seeing this and wants to experience the full thing, the way to do that would be to become a late backer on the Kickstarter, and then you'll gain access to the Discord. But all of this is just to say, I am gonna have to hurry through the dialogue to test the parts I want to test. But at the same time, I will have this to gameplay wise be a full gameplay up to the point. I usually pick up so this mission grants you access to the 5th character in the game. You can actually still go through the whole game and never do it, and never pick up the 5th character, which I think is interesting. Maybe it's not, but I always like stuff like that. Like I was a big fan of, like, I don't know, any RPG where you don't have to get everyone, because that makes it more interesting when you do. But by usually, it's usually the first thing I go to, and just pick up the 5th character for testing purposes. Though I guess I never know how to test. I just kind of just play the game, and I'm sure there's way more efficient ways to like test games than just like play through them. But I don't know. There's something about just seeing it the way. Yeah, it goes back and forth, because I say seeing it the way the player will see it, but I do have a certain amount of knowledge about the game that I can never get like back, right? Like I just know how things work and know how I made them and how they're supposed to work. That can't. I can never truly see like someone who hasn't played the game before. That's just not how it works, which is why playtesting is so valuable, and why I really value anytime I can get like a new person who's never played the game to playtest it. Seeing all the changes through their eyes and their opinions is often very valuable. But in the meantime, so this mission is the whole objective is to buy Fulu, who's an 8-cost card that appears. I forget how many cards she's at a set amount down in the deck. That's usually not too bad. This is one of the earlier missions. Though gained 8 can sometimes be tricky. definitely playing with Dan. Dan has the ability of whenever you play a 3-cost card, you gain an essence. He's usually a pretty big money machine and lets you buy high-cost cards pretty reliably. You know, I definitely, I am keeping the eye on making sure he's not like essential, right? That all of these missions can still be done, even, you know, without playing any particular character. Because that would definitely be like a worst case scenario of having a character like Dan that you feel like you have to take just because he's the only one who gives such good economy. But for missions like this, it's very useful. See, I'm already at 8, already buying the card, and we're already moving on. And also, I'm not against certain characters being better at certain missions. That almost ideally is the point, right? It's just that a lot of missions involve buying cards. So Dan's just generically good because, I mean, that's the main way you up your damage, even against missions where you're mostly fighting people, is you're buying higher cost cards that can up your damage. And Dan's good at that too. So I have my eye on him. There's always the chance that that type of ability might be too good.
And those
Ladies?
Rose was just.
Oh,
What is
didn't you guys?
that? Was even.
At this point, I'm just gonna skip through the
I appreciate-
conversations because I want to get to the to testing the mission that I just hopefully finished making. So I'm gonna take the quickest point. I'm gonna just take missions that advance the story. All right. This mission revolving around kind of trying to avoid the patrols in town. There are cards that'll pop up here in the middle that that if you don't get rid of them, they'll spawn like bad guys, and you know, just to have something different, because up until this point, you've been able to kind of just like freely buy cards in the center row and not really have to worry about like negatives popping up in the center row. It's just been the enemies up here. But I think it's interesting if there's variation here. And you know, you have to worry about enemies. I also, you know, making it easier for testing purposes, I do know that they appear every other card, right? So every third card is the way to say it, where you can buy a card, then a patrol appears, with a patrol also appearing after the final target. So I can just play knowing that, and you can do this. You know, this has the fun interaction with the explore card of you can just explore the patrol away. I think that's a neat little interaction that, you know, people who find that naturally are probably going to appreciate. And then here, this one, while a lot of the stuff you win the game like after you buy it or you end the turn within your discard pile, I did have this one be, he's cheaper up front, but then you have to actually draw him. I thought that was an interesting variation on kind of what I've been doing up to this point. Alright. Bye. Get rid of that patrol. And then also after that patrol, there's specifically a patrol behind the target, which is maybe too cute, but a little cute, like gotcha if you're not ready for it. And then there's, for this particular mission, there's no more patrols for the rest of the mission. You can kind of stop worrying about it. And the spawn rate on enemies is also very low on this mission on purpose, because of, you know, I just wanted it to be, if you're doing a good job of avoiding patrols, that you don't really have to worry about enemies. It's not zero, for example, there. You can still definitely get patrols out, or I mean, just generic guys out, but it is a very low spawn rate for it. So you're not usually worried about enemies unless they're being spawned from patrols. And I mean, overall, this is a pretty easy mission. But you know, it's not bad to have some of those, especially early on. Especially as like the later missions all universally tend to be pretty difficult. So, all right, getting through that. Oh boy. All right.
That sounds.
For this.
I never. That is a.
Yeah, and as far as like testing, this is probably going to be one of the only times I play. Like depends. Like I said, I want to like at least once a week playing through like most of the game, right? Just to get up to bug check and to get a sanity check on it. But I definitely can't be doing it every time. And I have tools that I can like, you know, just jump forward to a mission and stuff like that. But you know, it's this kind of push and pull of being the only one other than the artist working on this game. My time is just being stretched infinitely in a bunch of different directions, and it's I never know if I'm putting it in the right spot. The kind of gist of this mission is that you have this very high armor enemy that you're trying to kill, right? Ideally in one hit. And that's just a different challenge than what has been presented up to this point. Because kind of up to this point, you've been you've been killing a lot of different enemies, whereas this one's asking you to specifically take out one. And the obvious just built-in answer is that you build up enough power with Xia right away, and then just take him out in one shot. And then her cards like Quick Scope also add to that. So I think I should have enough with the 2 cards from Perfect Strike and the added. I actually misjudged that. And the very rare, it's actually, this is interesting because that doesn't usually trigger, but I do have it so that whenever you hit him, a bunch of enemies spawn in, which funny enough usually just happens after you kill him, which is still kind of, it gives a cool thing that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with gameplay, right? You take out the guy and then a bunch of sentries swarm in, but the mission's already over. I don't know. There's something neat about that I like. But the funny part is, I think I'm just going to. Oh, maybe. I was gonna say I might not just be able to complete this mission, but no, I think this should do it, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, but usually, and most of the testers that play through this mission, they'll just kill him in one shot, right? Especially because the other super easy way of getting rid of him is just have a rocket launcher, and usually Xia's deck, she might be the only one who can pick up the rocket launcher as a card from leveling up, but either way, that just gets rid of him in one go, and that can make the mission very short. But it's never not been funny when someone does it, right? Like, usually whoever just takes them out in one hit with the rocket launcher usually gets a pretty big hoot out of that. And, that's worth it by itself, right?
Oh, so...
It is merely.
Well...
Yeah.
You should be.
Going through that. Alright. And like I said, I'm just speed running to the new stuff. Yeah, I really like I like how the rocket launcher ended up, especially if you do pick that up as like a bonus card for like Xia. That just one shot gets rid of all of the medium to small stuff like right away. Right? It doesn't one shot like a boss or anything, but any medium to small stuff just gets gets taken out, and I think that's an interesting card. Yeah, and when making right now, it's the only like really one shot card I have in the game, but this does remind me, I do sometimes pick up the mech here to make this mission a little easier, but it's actually been a second since I've tried this mission without the mech. So I am going to do it knowing that maybe I might not succeed, but they'll probably be worth trying. Yeah, looking at this right here, I probably should have just picked up the mech. Talking about the rocket launcher, that'll probably be useful here. Yeah, especially I'm not very fighty. Got a bunch of enemies here. Whatever, I can always write this off as testing losing, which you know, is a good thing to test. I sometimes, if I'm just if I have the tool on that just lets me win through missions, sometimes I forget to test stuff like dying, and you know, you end up yeah, I don't have any AoEs. This is looking pretty bad, but not impossible. That is the thing I like about the game in general, is that there's few situations you're truly like mathematically eliminated from. You can claw your way out of a lot of situations, even if they look pretty dire. Yeah, this one does look pretty dire, though. Oh, yeah, there's Fireball, but I needed that, like, minutes ago. Alright. Oh, it's here now. And I'm getting my people back up, so... hope springs eternal. I guess, rocket launcher, the guy spawning all of these things. Because that's kind of the joke here, is that this mission starts with a big armored thing that spawns a bunch of guys. And you kind of want to get that down right away before you're kind of flooded like this. I do have a dive down, which is kind of a fog-like effect. If you're familiar with magic keys. I don't know. Yeah, I'm alive for another turn, so hope does spring eternal. Oh yeah, keep on swimming. See, this is what I was even talking about. You can dig your way out of so many situations in this game, and that's why I like it. Where even if things look bad, you know, you can work your way up. Though I'm definitely getting close to the end of this. Just keep on keeping on. Oh, alright, well, we're off to the races. I just played a card called Cunning, which actually is another one-shot card. I did lie in that there only being one-shot card, but that one permanently, any card that says draw a card, now draws you one more. And it's a very powerful card. Oh, that card, I think that card started off as costing 4, which is insane. It should have never costed 4. But slowly worked its way up to 7 and then removed itself from the game. And it's still like a crazy card. It's still one of the crazier cards in the game. But once again, I think there's just something about drawing cards that's like fun, right? Once again, as long as it's not every mission and as long as it's not right away, every once in a while, just drawing like your whole deck. There's something fun about it. And so that's why the card's still in the game. Alright. So I mean, I've stabilized basically. I got you know, this vehicle depot is a pain in the butt, but, you know, especially with going off with, yeah, look at that. That's going to be able to one-shot it? Jeez. Alright, yeah, no, never mind. Mechs, who needs them? Who needs them? And that's kind of, this is how I intended the game to be. That you can, you know, that you can beat basically any of the missions without, without taking the mech, like, ever. But that's there. The mech is there as a option for the, you know, when you need that kind of boost up, right? Because I do want people to be able to get through the game. I don't want people to just be frustrated. So there is there's a lot of tools to help if you get stuck at any one point. And the mech's a big one, right? As long as you're not like frivolously using it, you know, it's there as a tool to get you out of different situations. Now, as there is, you know, as there's not too much guidance on what missions give you what, though that one tells you. It's called Steal a Mech in the mission title. You pretty much know what you're getting. You know, so I don't feel bad about that at all. If someone like never picks up the mech because they never picked on the mission, you know, steal a mech. That's fine. All right, and then there's the final target for this. Do some fireball, and then there we go. We are on.
Dance.
I know.
Then you know.
Oh.
Just get some of my awful voice acting in here.
This was
Now that we
that will
thanks for this.
All right, at this point, I'll pick up some gear. I'm at 20. I really like adding a fireball, especially for like later missions. It really helps just having an AOE kind of like baked into everything. So this is the gear system. You have armor, which adds health, and then you have a weapon, which adds cards to your deck, right? So like the default weapon adds a slash, which is just your basic deal 1 damage. It's almost a dead card, though not completely. And then the light armor just grants plus 2 HP, which, you know, until you're looking at gear, you don't even like realize or recognize. But yeah. Add a fireball, and then like here you can view their deck, what they're currently rocking. Yeah, moving right along, and you'll see in here I'm playing with the same 3 all the time. That's just because when I'm powering through this for like testing purposes, I don't want to think about it too hard. I just want to keep on going. So I have a bunch of different voice actors. I would say about half are people I know from my local area, but then the other half are people I paid. The Shia voice actor I got off of Fiverr, and then there was a couple of people I know from like, well, not know, but I had heard of from like Twitter and kind of were personal fans of, and really wanted to do a project with them, and I knew the rates were pretty affordable. So like, for example, that voice actor for Rose and the voice actor for Fulu, which is the medic-like character, and then the mage character. You know, we're people I knew from Twitter, and really wanted to work with them. So, so that there's a minor role filled in with Fiverr, and then everyone else is just people I know, people from my local area that that expressed interest in, you know, wanting to try their hand at voice acting, and you know, for example, the guy who did Dan, which is basically, you know, one of the 2 main characters, I would say Shia and Dan kind of have split duties on being like the quote unquote main character. I ended up paying him in a Magic the Gathering card. It was a pretty expensive Magic the Gathering card, but at the end of the day, it was still just, you know, I was able to, you know, because he was my friend and want to be part of the project. You know, I could afford to do voice acting at all, as opposed to, you know, there's definitely a world where, you know, probably a more sane world on my part, where I just never did voice acting for the demo, and you know, and I won't be in like the situation I am now, where I'm wondering, you know, trying to figure out how to get them back, get the voice actors back to keep on doing the voices for the rest of the game. Yeah, I didn't math. I'm not. Talking definitely does make it harder to math. All right. So this mission, the main objective is just to buy this, and then which at this point has been the highest cost main objective so far. And then you win. It is funny because on this particular mission, especially some builds by this point in the game can generate so many resources so quickly that you can just beat this on the first turn. But once again, there's almost similar to being the mission with the high armor guy in one turn, where you can just like use a rocket launcher. Like, there's some fun to that. Like when people get that opening hand and see the rocket launcher in the hand and use it on the high armor guy and just win right away. Like you can see that it's fun. That's a fun thing, right? So, similarly on this mission, I don't, you know, if people just hurry up and are able to beat it right away, that doesn't, you know, I think that's okay. As long as that's not every mission, it's fine. Just being like, oh man, I made 10 resources on like my first turn. I just buy it and now I've won. You know, it's like
It's the dancer.
I see my reputation.
that's a fun thing.
Time to finish.
All right, going on to the boss fight. Yeah, still have this 1v1 screen back from when you just picked one character for every mission. I do want to change that, but I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to have it be split, keep the same screen and keep the dancer taking up the same part of the screen, but then have 3 smaller picks. I'll probably talk to the artist. Beckomon is the artist, and see if he can come up with something cool. I know he's currently looking into a lot of this stuff, but I probably need a meeting with him sooner rather than later. Definitely as I'm talking about things out loud, I am noticing certain things that I could be talking with him about that I've kind of been putting off, just focusing on content going forward, missions and whatnot. Alright, well that's a card that can really go off. Alright. So... And then this is like the big Act 1 boss fight, right? Where it has 100 health, which is way more than anything has had up to this point. She doesn't have any armor, though. So, you know, you can just keep on pecking away at her. And it's pretty reasonable. I haven't... especially since I moved to the party-based system, I haven't really seen anyone struggle with her too much. And then I have the little, you know, I have the background different for this one, and kind of the cards lighting up, sort of in time with the music. It's not exactly, but you know, it's I try to make it look as much as possible.
You'll taste that.
Yeah. Yep. Just usually cards that cycle through the deck are... I did that in the wrong... no, it's fine. It's fine. Are usually the way to go for this. And once again, I try to be constantly aware that I don't want that to be the only strategy,
My
right?
cuts go
Is just
much deeper than flesh.
constantly,
Hope
and
there's
oh,
anything
that battle
cards in
dialogue
your
screen
deck
needs to
you
change at some
particularly
point. The
care
font's just
about.
wrong on that. But I never seem, I never get to that. I always, every time I play through this, I'm like, oh, I need to change the font on that screen in particular. But then I always get, it's always the next thing and the next thing. I never get to it. Alright. Well, we have a bunch of currency. Where to? Yeah, and it's gone quickly. That's always a fun part where you can have a really high damage thing and just buy that real quick. But all right. No, that was probably the wrong choice. But that's fine. I am just trying to power through this. Yep, and now we little bit play the game as people go down. To me, this was kind of inspired by like D&D, where you can just kind of whenever you heal someone, they come back up. So you can kind of juggle people going down. That's kind of interesting to me. Specifically, what going down in this game means: your passive turns off, so whatever their passive is stops working if they reach 0 hit points, and then whatever their starting cards are removed from the card ecosystem. The card ecosystem kind of being well, it happens in between turns, so like your deck and your discard, right? Wherever that is in the deck and the discard. And then once they get back up, they add their starting cards back into your deck. I know that's a little unintuitive, just like playing through it, but it's also like, I've noticed people don't think about it too. Like, it's only after you've been playing a while that you start thinking about it at all. Like, it's like, oh, what actually does happen when one of my people hits 0 hit points? And then, like, you can figure out yourself, but it, it is a little... It's unintuitive in the sense in what exactly happens is a little bit hard to nail down, but what... The kind of feeling of what... Like, it just usually doesn't come up. You usually don't even need to... Like unless you're really getting deep into the systems. It kind of just does its thing behind the scenes and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, buy that just to pick off this guy.
You'll take to that.
Just keep swimming. Alright. Yeah, and this fight is just a little... I mean, by design, it's supposed to be the boss. It's a little long, but it's only really a problem during testing because, like I said, I think for when people are playing through it, especially because the idea is they only play it through it once. Like, most people will beat this fight on their first try, right? So it's really a one-and-done fight. The fact that it's a little bit lengthier... Alright, well, yeah, that's why Juan's a good card. Just gets everyone back up. And then, yeah, and now that I'm playing other... Alright, so now at this point, you kind of do reach your... if you're aiming to do what's happening here, you can kind of end up just, like, going off. And, see, now I'm almost at full health and stabilized. And once again, that's part of the game. That's just, what you're... you do... If you didn't realize that from the beginning, you do end up... That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build engines to go off like that. That's why I'm not too worried that there's not a lot of ways to kind of get rid of cards from the card ecosystem. That's your discard pile. Because I think there's enough ways to build engines to start, like, really drawing a bunch of cards and going off that... you don't you don't need those other tools to kind of thin out your deck, because at this point there is so many good engines to start either stabilizing or drawing a bunch of cards that at this point adding more ways to thin your deck would just you'd be able to do it too consistently. There needs to be a little bit of a struggle there for the game to be interesting at all. Yeah, like I can even remember back to when this card, Cunning, was cheaper, and like you could just get it pretty easily and start going off. You know, it was fun the first time, but then after that, it's like this. You know, you don't really want that to be every game, where someone's just drawing their whole deck. All right. Though it is certainly... Alright, there we go. This is over.
Take that. So, yeah.
She's gone.
There is no time to wait.
So this is it.
I wouldn't go.
All right.
That should be everything.
Alright. Yeah, looking at this, I don't think I've gotten that much closer to the mission I want to test. Well, I mean, obviously anything's getting closer to it, but... Yeah, on a normal day, I'm definitely not going to be able to play through everything. And so here's Act 2. Basically, after you defeat the dancer, there's a mission refresh where all the old missions go away, and then you get new ones. And these are all kind of like chaining paths, right? Because the idea is that you're flying around to different parts of the galaxy, and like the planets you go to have a similar enemy pool that will harass you throughout all the missions there. So the two I've been working on is there's this a planet of Xantharix, which is like this jungle world, and you're investigating these ruins, and you're trying to get to the heart of that. And then the other one is kind of these space battles. You link up with a local resistance, and you try to, just do a bunch of space battles, which is what I'm trying to test the end of here. So let's keep going. And yeah, it's definitely my friend who was testing through these missions definitely know they are pretty difficult, because a lot of them. Shoot, I remembered. All right, well, I'm gonna have to fix that. So part of what I wanted to do for the boss battle is have some ship action start in your deck, because the boss starts with all of his stuff in play. I thought to make that a little bit fair, that you start with one of each of the main ship actions in your deck. And I realized I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So that's going to be at the start of match script. All right. Go down to that mission. All right. Yeah. I need to be adding... this in. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, luckily with the autosave, I'll just be able to go back to the mission I was playing. I don't need to do it. The only bad part about the auto part is I don't have, and maybe that's something I need to add just for testing purposes, I don't have different save files. I only have the one autosave file, which you can either pick new game or you can load the autosave file. That definitely does make it harder for testing, because once you reach a point where you kind of need to go backwards, you can't unless you start everything over, and that's been a little annoying. Probably one of these days I'm gonna spend literally the whole day just making testing tools. Gonna make ways to add cards to your deck, maybe even add multiple save files you can test off of, or you know what, that won't even be a bad thing just for the game in general. But that would be really looking at how the save game works at all. No, not MAs, just the normal space cards. There we go. All right, adding to. Oh yeah, the deck. Literally the deck. All right. So now, if some of you are paying attention, you might be wondering why I'm doing this in one line for this, whereas here I did these in, I made a variable and then add the variable. I'm gonna be honest, the answer is I don't remember. I don't know why I have that as 2 lines for the enemies. When that is theoretical, I can just do in 1 line. I can just create the object and add the object to the list like I'm doing there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to trust that I had a somewhat reasonable good idea for when I did that at the time, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on as yeah, always forward. It's like a swimming shark. I feel if I stop and try to analyze everything, I'm just never gonna get anything done. So yep, adding one of all the ship cards, which can actually meaningfully interact with the boss, which is a ship. You know, and that'll be different. That'll make it different than the previous 2 ship missions, where you kind of had to buy your ship cards and had to have that go through the whole like economy before you got to see them. Here you're just starting with some, which as always, there's a card called Quick Reflexes, which lets you get a card from your discard pile to your hand. And that always continues to make that probably just the best card in the game, especially for, you know, the fact that pretty much any character can just add that to their deck. It's random if it shows up and you can add it. And the fact that it costs 4. I mean, once again, it used to cost 3, and that was just too good. But even at 4, there's so many things that positively interact with just being able to have your whole discard pile be able to be, you know, something you can pick from. Though that always does lead to, if you heavily get those cards, gain a handful of them with like a kind of crappier card. Oh, it doesn't feel good, which always kind of does feel like justice. All right, here we go. All 5 of those are now going to add, and it should be good. Yeah, all right. And here we go. Yeah, I don't know if you're still here half off, but thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. That's interesting. This build time is longer than it usually is. I wonder if it just is because I'm streaming. Yeah, it probably is because I'm streaming. I'm recording it to. I'm gonna trim this down and put this on the YouTube page because I know there's a lot of people on the Discord who maybe want to check this out and just weren't available at this time since I didn't. You know, this is literally day 0. I didn't give anyone any heads up I was doing this, so. Oh, look at that! Suddenly went to build. All right. All right, and then yeah, and we're at the point here where we're no more voice acting. Voice acting is just up to the Act 1 part. All right, here we go. All right. So let's. Oh yeah, that was silly. I was thinking that was a seek. That was a slash instead. Yeah, Yeah, rockets can still do something because all of the ships have armor 6, which is usually enough that all the small attacks can't get through it. You need these ship specific attacks which ignore all armor to start punching through that. And then to kind of help balance that and get you going, you start with this shield generator, which gives you armor 5 against ship attacks, but it kind of gets plinked down as you go on. And then here, the purchase row is a little less interesting for these ship missions because you're just buying the ship actions. Like anytime you see anything that directly affects the ship part of the game, it's usually worth it. All right, talk about buying quick reflexes pretty much at any point. Oh, yeah, that did nothing, but that's fine. Yeah, I definitely have to remember part of learning this, and one of the cool things is that your small attacks you want to hold during these ship missions especially if you're playing with Xia, because she'll like build them. Every turn you don't play an attack, your attacks get 1 stronger. But I guess I guess it's a good thing if what's being the correct thing to do isn't immediately obvious. Because that will hopefully mean it takes a little bit to realize what's going on. Yeah, so I've been avoiding this boarding action card. Truthfully, I don't like it. I think I'm gonna cut it. All of the ship stuff is new enough that I haven't given it all of it like tremendous amount of thought. But it's weird enough. Like it was both weird to program and it's weird. I don't know. It plays weird enough that it doesn't just feel like good, like some of the other ship actions. Alright, is the rotary stuff alright? Yeah, here we go. And this is typical. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but the ship actions usually get to like this board state where you have like a bunch of them built up, and then all of a sudden you play one that just gets rid of a lot of them. It can feel good. It's definitely not terrible. Because just that giant burst of AoE that kills a bunch of them, it is good feeling, but it can feel a little unintuitive. And then another unintuitive thing here is the shield generator has already been taken out, so you end up with power to shields ends up not doing anything because it normally heals your shield generator. But I think we're close enough to. Oh yeah, and there's I think the first time orbital lasers popped up this playthrough, that can make the ship sections really quick, like it can any section where you're just trying to kill one person, where it can just take him out in one go. Ugh, this was all right. That's not enough to just kill me, but it does kill 2. So, all right, there's the main gun. 2 main gun shots win? No, it doesn't. What's in my discard pile? Yeah, because that has some extra. It normally does 10, so 22 down to 3. So 2 main gun shots does not do it. So I'll get bulwark back up. Yeah, I need to take out. Oh man, I really like the animation and sound effect on that main gun. I might have to find an excuse to get it earlier in the game. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it earlier in the game, but I definitely want it. It's very satisfying. Alright. Yeah, just up and down. Oh yeah, I don't know. And complete overkill for the end here. Alright. And then with these space missions, or in Act 2 in general, I'm really messing around with giving rewards that aren't just experience. Like, you know, Act 1 has, like, you can pick up the mech, you can pick up fusion cores for the mech, but, especially with the space missions, I really wanted to mess around with just giving out, like, you know, basic materials, as, you know, something you can, get by just playing through it.
No,
Aren't you kind of tired?
I don't give a
Desertion? Okay.
Alright. And now we're far enough in that we have characters I don't even have portraits for. It is always dangerous because I am stretching my one artist I have access to like his limit. So anytime I add like a new enemy or a new portrait, I'm like, oh, there's a chance this just never gets art. But at the same time, I feel like holding myself back by like always thinking that, by always being like, man, every new enemy, every new character I add, you know, there's a chance they don't get art. Like I don't know. At a certain point, it is what it is. And I do think, I do think I either have you by Act 1 or I don't, right? Like, I think once this game actually goes on sale, people are either they make it through Act 1 and then they play most of the game, or they're already out by then. So I think maybe if toward the later end of the game I don't have art for everything, I think that might be fine. I think that just might be fine. Alright, really quick, gain some gear upgrades, because this late, everything's hard enough that you do need gear upgrades. Moving on to the next space mission, after which will be the mission I actually was trying to test this entire time. Alright. Though, this mission is a pain in the butt, so we do victory on it is not guaranteed. Well, having a main gun right away is certainly a good start. Alright, yeah, early powered. Yeah, early ship cards just help, which is why I think for the boss fight, giving people ship cards just like right away is I think both interesting and just what needs to be done. In general, so what makes this fight unique is you have this big ship that has 400 health, a bunch of health, but then you have parts of the ship that you're kind of like shooting through. The idea, which is hard to, without the art, is hard to visualize. But the idea is it's supposed to be this giant ship that you're shooting off parts of as you fly around it, which I'm trying to communicate with cards as best as I can. But, as with a lot of things, you do at some point kind of need a visualization to really get ideas like, that was an order mistake. Ideas like that. Alright, main gun. Yeah. So what is this? This is the one that keeps on spawning those guys? Alright. Yeah, definitely do that. Maybe I should have taken anger there. Alright. So a lot of guys. Alright. Well, I mean, if I'm going to be streaming myself doing this all the time, get used to seeing this screen, because it just, unfortunately, I cannot make not buggy programs. I just can't do it yet. Not without testing. So which is fine. This wasn't supposed to be a stable build showcase anyway. This is me making the game. So alright, so enemy on board. Why did this happen? Alright, so that's a frame. That is drawing. I am already getting the sense that is probably not anything with this event is probably there's probably an enemy out there. This is probably an index error with the array, is that it tried to grab something that wasn't an enemy and then threw the error here because it's not holding an enemy, so it's not holding something with a name. Why? So what was even happening? I fired the main gun. No, I was scrolling through enemies. Yeah, that's even weirder. I've never had that throw an error before. I was just straight scrolling through enemies. All right. Yeah, this is really where it's gonna get interesting, because there's already been a bunch of times like this, but now there's gonna be a bunch of times like this in front of people where you can just see that I've just gotta look at things until I figure out why an error got thrown. And if I was better at coding, I'm sure there's a lot of different ways I could, not have this be so bad. But I know what I know. Yeah, oh man, this is such simple code. How did this F things up? Alright, so what happened? I killed an enemy, and then right after I killed the enemy, I started scrolling? Is that the problem? Is that I've never really done that before? Oh man, that's going to be so hard to test for. If that's what threw the error. Oh. Yeah, no, this is a bad one, because I don't know what caused it. So the enemy was dying, and then I was scrolling through enemies as it was dying, and then that caused the frame to try to grab an enemy, or try to grab something that was out of scope. All right, so what'd this do? This increased the slot offset, which during the step event is where it tries to grab an enemy, which is right here. So current working theory, and it's probably just what happened, is this number was a bigger number than there was actually enemies. So it just grabbed junk data and then threw an error when it tried to read the name of the junk data. All right, so is there a safeguard I can just build in here to make sure it just never does that? All right, well, what safeguards does it have? All right, it's already, making sure that it's bigger than slot 1. And then it should be, so, yeah, this is the test that normally keeps in line, which is it measures, how big that list is before it tries to grab anything. But is it this code that's effed up then? Was I trying to get too cute with this? Because it's normally where it is. It's either slot 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then it's the offset plus minus 1. All right. So the problem is normally this code works fine. In fact, it's worked fine all the way up till now. Now's the problem. So scrolling why an enemy was dying is the current theory of why that bug got thrown. Okay. Did it not get reduced reduced? Did the slot change because it was dying? You know what? I'm going to try to recreate. I'm just going to try to recreate that error. Because I need more information. I need to know for sure what caused it. Otherwise, I'm just blindly guessing. I'm blindly guessing at something that works most of the time, and that's not going to get me anywhere. I need to reliably recreate it. That might be hard though, because if it's exactly, well, it might be easy. Oh, shoot, better testing tools. You know what? Talk about better testing tools. I need more enemies on screen, which means I do need a way to reliably just not die to having a bunch of enemies on screen. And I did just think of a way to do that pretty easily. Is that Shia has a card called Dive Down. That when that gets played, it puts the player in a state called fogging, which prevents them from taking any damage until end of phase, end of their turn. And I realized I could just attach that to a button for testing, and that's what I'm gonna do, because I need to have like 5 enemies on the screen. I need to kill one, and then I need to start trying to. Maybe it needs to be more. Maybe it needs to be like 6 enemies on the screen. I kill one, and then I need to start trying to scroll while that enemy is dying. I think is where all of this problem comes from. So that means I need to. Nope. Make a new button press. Why have I not delete? I haven't used the delete key for anything yet. All right. Key press. All right. So yeah. I called it fogging, right? Ship fog. Did I not have it? First class, zoomed in, version number. I need to have a better. There's got to be a better way. Fortunately, I did bifurcate the player attributes, partly by necessity, because some of them need to initialize at the beginning of the game, and then some, like all the lists that get created, they can't initialize. Well, not can't, but the way, yeah, here it is, self-def fogging. They really, the way I have it set up, they can't initialize until later in the game. So I did, but like ship-dot fogging could get initialized at the beginning of the game, and it might be a problem. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that because I don't want to run into the problem of this not working. All of these like true, all of these true false things can just get initialized at the beginning of the game. It's just all the list stuff. I really can't initialize until after the first room change from the main menu room into the game room. Once again, there's a billion different ways you can do anything, and I could obviously change that so that wasn't the case, but that would take a lot of effort to change something that's currently working. So, all right, so fogging equals true. All right, so here we go. So now I should just be able to hit the delete button and not take any damage until the end of the turn. So that way I can get a bunch of enemies to build up, and then I can kill one of those enemies. And would it be better to test? Yeah, probably be better to test that at the beginning, but No, I can test it because the Xantherix missions they have the exploder bugs which only have 1 health, so that most hands should be able to kill a 1 health thing no problem. Yeah, these builds definitely do take longer while I'm streaming, which makes sense, right? Right. It's not like I have a crazy powerful computer to begin with. All right. All right. So doing this. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have a bunch of enemies built up pretty quickly. So just make sure to hit delete. Or yeah. How many are we already at? Oh yeah. All right. Let's see if I can. We're already at the number. Let's see if I can. Find a way to yeah. All right. Here we go. All right. So theory is that if I kill one and immediately start scrolling, it'll break the game because that's our problem. Let's see if it's true. Yeah, is there a way? Yeah, that's probably pretty funky. Yep, there we go. There we go. All right. Well, now we know the problem. We recreated the problem immediately. That's actually a good sign. So what we thought was the problem is the problem, which means that it'll always happen. Which means we need to do this a different way. We can't be increasing the offset at the same time something's dying. And there we go. That's the answer, right? If the enemy's dying, I guess I need a way to know if any enemy is dying. Yeah, I can run that check real quick every time on the scroll. That's not bad. So yeah, just on the scroll, it's gonna run the check to see if any enemy's dying. And if an enemy's dying, then you can't scroll while an enemy's dying because it breaks the effing game. So yeah, pretty easy. Good. If anyone who uses either GameMaker or Computer Science Law is watching this, and wondering why I'm using lists instead of arrays, I don't got a good answer for you. It's what I've been using for like a decade is lists, and I mean this goes back to old GameMaker didn't have arrays, which was wild. I almost couldn't believe it when I started working on GameMaker. And they only had lists. You had to, everything was lists, which was fine. I got used to it, especially because I don't know. I think Python uses a bunch of lists, though you could always use arrays in Pythons too. And then eventually, I think around when they came out with GameMaker 2, as they used to call it, they just added in arrays and started being a more normal programming language. But by then I was too used to lists. And they work fine. So I use lists instead of arrays almost all of the time. I'm trying to think of a situation where maybe I wouldn't. For like a really low level solution thing, maybe I would just go back to using arrays. Because I mean that's what all the classic computer science examples use anyway. But for everything else, yeah, I just use lists. Yeah, I don't think the lookup time. I mean, the lookup time for them is probably so slightly slower than arrays, but it can't possibly be enough to impact performance in meaningful ways. Which, I mean, if it is, and if someone who knows more than I do, which is probably most people, it actually is no, lists are way slower. then I guess going forward I'll probably just have to try to change everything I do. But I haven't. I don't know. I just haven't. No, I use lists all the time, and I haven't noticed any real performance issues with them. Oh yeah, for loop. Yeah, pretty much the for loop I end up running into all of the time is getting, which is simply just like a list walkthrough. I know, once again, more fancier language like Python, you can just do fancy things like for and then the name of the list, and it'll just walk through the list. But GameMaker doesn't have that, so we're just doing this written out a little bit more. Yeah, and another big argument, I guess, against lists is that every time you want to do something with a list, you have to type in ds list, then underscore whatever function you're looking for that. Where with arrays, you can just reference the item in the array, and that's it. But I don't know, it's not been that bad. It's been a couple extra keystrokes. So if this enemy dot dying, right? Because it is dot dying, it is. Then return. For some reason, this the linter, the feather is the name of the linter built into GameMaker. It just freaks out if you don't have a bound to return. Like if you just go down, hit return, and don't have a bound. Not all the time, but sometimes it'll just lose its crap because it tries to warn you that everything below it is not going to function. Whereas, you know, if you bound it, it's more obvious what you're trying to do. I should probably put this in for scrolling left as well, because it probably has just the same problem. Yeah. All right. And that theoretically should fix it, because the problem was scrolling while an enemy is dying, and this very much addresses that exact situation. So let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is because, you know, when I wasn't streaming and just during build times, I would, like, I don't know, F around on my phone or something. And so maybe I just wasn't. Yeah, it's a little longer than when building without having, you know, the OBS running. But it's not too bad. Do want I do need to get rid of the oh man, there's two of them. The thick jungle cards, because they do stop you from attacking enemies. Yes. Hello. Oh man, they just keep on coming. So yeah, so now hitting delete should stop them from doing any damage. Yeah. Alright. I guess there was never really a question of if that worked or not. But, good to know it does. Alright. All the thick jungle done. Alright, so I want to build up at least 6 enemies before trying to kill one. Alright, whoa. Alright, well, turns out the new code just doesn't work either. Jesus. Alright. And why is that? Not set before reading it. Okay, now why is... No, unknown object. Alright, so this wasn't working. Oh, boy. That's a whole different problem. Alright, so if a simple walkthrough isn't why would it not be? Why would this not just work? Because it is just a simple walkthrough. So it's going over the flow. How is that even possible? See, and this is also the part I worry about, is a non-insignificant amount of this is just going to be me looking at my own stupid code being like, I don't know why it's not working. Alright. Yeah. It's definitely got to be overflowing. It's got to be going over the number of enemies and just getting a junk object from outside of the range of the list. But why? It's specifically bound by the number of enemies in the list. Why would that not work? All right. Well, so now I actually need to. All right. Now that I'm truly stumped, I need to be giving the program needs to be giving feedback. So, time to do show debug messages. Yeah. Let's see what I value. This is just blowing up at. All right. So show debug message. Then the I value. Guess I'll be a little bit more specific. Guess I'll use the all right. Once more. All right, let's see what I value it's freaking out at. That is one of the crazy parts forever trying to keep focus on anything is that, on days with heavy bugs, or even not days with heavy bugs, just days with testing, so much of your time is just like, all right, yeah, waiting for the build. It's real easy to lose focus while waiting for a build. All right. All right. So I need to clear out the jungle. The nest there will actually just help. All right. Yeah, that breaks the game. Let us see why. Enemy I equals 0, so it breaks immediately. That's something. That was not expected at all. I thought it was overflowing. That means it's not overflowing at all. It's just breaking immediately. On the first enemy. Why? What? That makes even less sense. I didn't, misspell something, right? Yeah, that's how you spell enemies. What is going on? That raises more questions. What? Why would that? All right. So it's getting the first enemy in the list, and it's just not reading it. Yeah, because I'm an idiot. And see, and this is always how it ends. This is always how one of these ends. Is I just suddenly realize that I'm an idiot. It's just how these always end. Yeah, it's not. The enemies themselves don't have the dying condition. I put that on the cards. I don't need to be reading the enemies to see if they're dying. I need to be reading the gosh darn, the actual frame of the cards that are holding them. Jeez. All right, that's fine. Easy fix? Kind of. Do I actually have a holding? This might not be an easy fix. I don't think the enemies actually hold the information of who is holding them. I mean, I guess no, it works. So it works from 0 to 4. So no, all right. There's an easy way to do this. It's the frames show the first. Well, not always. Gosh, that's not even true. Do I put them in a list somewhere that I can easily? Surely I've ran into a problem like this before. Surely. All right. Do I just have a list I put all those frames in? Well, there's the enemies. Maybe I don't. It's wild, if true. I probably know more from, I don't know, I was checking there. Should just check the start match script. Yeah, where do these even go? No, they just hang out. They themselves have slots on them, but yeah, I didn't put them in any list somewhere. Well, maybe that's the easiest solution, right? Just put Put them less on the player object. Put everything on the player object. That's probably not healthy. Probably should not be putting everything on the player object, but here's another thing. What would we call this? ME frames, yeah. Alright. Woo! I say woo. Alright, and that's where all of these are going to go. Yeah. Alright. What we got? We got Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3, and 4. Alright. Which means I also need to empty those every time. Alright, well, let me do that before I forget. So that means end of game. I also need to clean up that list. Alright. Should be, yeah, it's all around here. It's all the same. Just go through just deleting them from that at the end of a match when they're not anymore needed. Yeah. Alright, there we go. And that's it, really. Alright, and all of that is just to let me walk through them on this event here. Yes. Because I am instead walking through the first 4, which means I don't need this. Walking through the first 4 and really need to not just bring up my desktop every time. Yeah, so any frames. Here we go. Yeah, because that's attached to the frame. All right, all right. And then just change it for scrolling left as well. Yeah. All right. And all of this is just to... Alright, yeah. This should fix the problem. I'm going to keep the debug message in there just in case it doesn't. And this was the problem trying to fix the other problem. So it's cascading problems. Alright, the lower problem we're on now is that scrolling wasn't working all now. And that got broken trying to fix the problem that if I had 6 or more enemies and I killed a guy and then immediately tried to scroll, that would break the game. So we tried to fix that by just making you unable to scroll if someone was dying, because we were pretty sure that was the problem. But we broke that because we're idiots. So we fixed that and hopefully fixing that will allow the fix we tried to do earlier to fix the thing we were trying to fix in the first place. There's gotta be a better way. This can't actually be how most people live with coding. All right. All right, enemy number 1, enemy number 2. Guess I don't need to click. I guess I can just go delete and spacebar. All right, does this break the game now? No, it doesn't. Look at that. That's fixed. All right, now wait until we get one more enemy. All right, and look. All right, so now we're gonna try kill one and then scroll like immediately afterwards. Let's even try to get like right on there to really try to break the game. Oh, look at that! Look at that. Well, I think I fixed it. I mean, that seemed to be what the problem was. Should I play out this? Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, now back trying to test the other mission. All right, so I'm gonna take out the debug message because to not, fill my thing full of useless debug information. Now useless debug information. And yeah, all right. Back to trying to test the mission that I theoretically finished working on, I don't know, an hour ago? Over an hour? 2 hours ago? Oh, boy. Yeah, maybe that'll be what I do on Monday. Monday will be just trying to build better testing tools, and that'll be a whole thing because that's very like pure computer sciencey stuff, right? Of just trying to manipulate the game with tools. Yeah, try to beat this mission. Alright, quick reflexes. Yeah, the main gun's gonna be good here in a second. Where did we start with? Oh yeah, the hangar. Ugh. Oy vey. Well, let's get this in the rotation. Oh, another one can't hurt. That can't hurt. Alright. Definitely have a plan. The context switching is going from having to debug stuff to playing a game is never not just gonna send me. It's very very hard to go back and forth, especially when I keep on making missions that are just end up having you get swarmed. What's even in my discard pile? Almost nothing. All right. Yeah, no, this does anything. I guess this gets a money, but does 2 money don't even do? Alright, fine. I'll just give you more health. Jeez. Oh yeah, because of the boarding ships. Alright, well, I am going to be taking out most of these in just one shot anyway, so. There we go. Hey! And, you know, that didn't break the game. Not that I thought it would, but, you know, anytime you're killing that many enemies, I'm always like, I don't know. I don't even know if there's good reason. Alright, so take out that. Give me a little bit of breathing room here. And, yeah, actually, I'm a fan of the wand in this situation. Oh yeah, and these are just like dudes that I can fight normally. Ugh. Oh yeah, that does 6 and my shields are down. And a cannon showed up. Alright. Maybe. Yeah, maybe this mission is a little too hard. Yeah, because what? This takes me out? Yeah, because shields are already down.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm gonna. What do I do to rebalance that mission? I mean, I guess the spawn rate of the other enemies is definitely a factor, always. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that would be the easiest thing, is to just have, I don't know. These ship sections are very powerful, though. Especially having, you know, depending on which one flops out right away. Having to deal with that right away can be, you know, rough. Huh, that neck is almost big enough to do anything. Can I actually take out a... No, I can't. Maybe. Should I use... No, it's one short. Yeah, it's one short on purpose. No, it can just take out a fighter. Yeah. Oh, man, it's getting toward the end of a day of working on this, because my brain is rattled. Alright. Oh, that was a bad time for the shuffle, but... Alright, can I buy anything to help get me out of this situation? No, not really. Maybe I need to get gear? Have I been using? No, I only have... I don't have enough to buy gear. Maybe... Yeah. Cause this I'll survive through, but now my shields are down. Maybe everything's fine. Maybe it's just all okay. Alright, oh, there's another evasive maneuver. What's that up to? That's probably up to a bunch of damage. So it's +2, 8? Is that enough to do anything to anything? Not really. 9. Yeah. I mean, we'll punch that and do 3 points of damage, but oh my gosh. Alright. Well, I have a bunch of stuff. Should be pretty good. Alright. Alright, well, I can shoot one of these things. Which is probably just gonna be the cannon. It is shooting and hurting us. Oh. Actually, let me check. Yeah. There's borders on the ship. Well, I'm doing a pretty good job just never taking damage any of these turns. Do I have what do I... There's the rotary cannons, which probably would help. Yeah, sure. Yeah, especially because they're beefed up. Alright, yeah, a bunch of borders though. If I wasn't... I do need, my friend who playtests all the time, he gave me the feedback that I need some displayer telling you if you're not taking damage this turn or not. And that's just true. I need one of those. Because I know it, because I remembered I played Dive Down this turn. But it's real, I can imagine it's real easy to play through a complicated turn and not realize that you played Dive Down at some point. Yeah, I'm definitely a holding pattern of where I am fogging the enemies most of the turns. But, you know, I haven't been removing cards from my deck. So that luck just has to run out at some point. Yeah. Oh, like there. Oh, yeah, because of the borders. Yeah, no, this is on purpose. The evasive maneuvers don't get you past the borders. Lucky I just didn't die there. Alright. Alright, that takes out the ship, but there's so many borders. That's like, what is going on? Yeah, I think I might just be dead on board. I don't know why I bought that card. Yeah, this probably just kills me. Yeah, that mission might be a little too hard. Thinking of a way to, I'm gonna give it one more go. And this time I'm gonna give it a go assuming the mission's too hard and looking for ways to fix it. Alright. So, I mean, right off, this is getting chunked 12 a turn, which means it only has 3 turns of shields. 3 turns of shields is okay, especially, oh yeah, because I got Dive Down. That already adds an extra turn of that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I just need to have a certain number of ship cards appear like early in the deck. Like I need to purposely put the ship cards like earlier in the deck so that you're seeing them, because right now it's pure random. I have a lot of them. I shuffled a lot of them into the deck. So you're seeing ship cards. You have a pretty good chance of seeing ship cards early and often, but maybe I need to stop leaving that to chance, and just start gain some rules on when ship cards can should be flopping out. Well, I mean, the orbital lasers there, that always kind of feels a bit cheeky, but I'm probably just gonna have that be my win condition. Just orbital laser my way out of this game. Actually, can I do it this turn? Can I just win? Yeah, I can just win this turn. Well. Let's not say there's no way to beat the mission, but I mean, with orbital laser being a one of in the deck, like, you know, that's never the primary way these missions are designed to be beat. But here we are. I guess it's kind of funny, an orbital laser killing a spaceship, but you know, it makes sense. It can like turn around. Also, I guess I never specify what it's orbiting. Could just be orbiting the ship.
Those your
Yeah.
no.
Well,
All right. Well, we worked so hard to get to this mission, basically this entire stream, that might as well be doing it. Give a look see before I sign off here. All right. So oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't have the didn't have the shield generator spawning. Whatever. That's a quick fix. I am starving though. Fix this now. Yeah, it's such a quick fix. I said I was going to be doing this till 4, so might as well keep up on it. All right, so start match. Need to be adding the shield generator to the player's equipment at the start of the match. Which is as simple as... oh, yeah, I guess I do need all of that. Yeah. I forgot I have so much code for that. I mean, it's not so much. It's 6 lines, but still. Considering, you know, you can add stuff to the deck in like 1 line. It always feels like a bunch. That takes 6 lines to add the shield generator. All right. Yeah, there we go. That took like no time at all. Whew. Yeah, no, overall, I feel like I've been productive on the stream. It hasn't been too. It's certainly, I feel that I've been talking for hours, and attempting to do this for 8 is, oh, that's gonna be something. But yeah, no, it hasn't been bad, and I guess talking through things has helped. You know. It's definitely, I can definitely act on impulse and not necessarily have justifications for why I do certain things, but you know, having the goal of I keep on talking during these things, which is my goal. I feel like that's the only reason to do this, is or hear my dumb voice this entire time. Yeah, forces me to kind of justify why I'm doing things, or even for why I don't have a justification. Just be like, you know, it is the way it is. If you got a better way, you know, at me, literally at me. I will. Happy for feedback. All right. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So immediately this isn't working. But I guess that's good to know. I don't know if I'll end up fixing this today, but yeah, this should be making all the purchase cards cost 1 more. That is absolutely failing at doing that. All right, so step 1, look into why that's doing that. So I think, yeah, that functionality code is attached to the purchase card frame. All right, yeah. So here we go. Jump jets. Oh, yeah. Once again, I'm just an idiot. I'm just dumb. All right. Well, at least this is an easy fix. Why do I even? Oh man, this is worse than. This is sloppy. I named it something. The jump jets is what I used to. I used to have it so that you could F around with the mech and like change the cards it had and stuff. But Oh, oh. OBS down. Stream down. Is it back up? Is it back up? Do I gotta start and stop again? Yeah, alright. All right. Well, OBS crashed, and now we're back. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I think. I think we're back. See. I don't. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out while looking at OBS, but that's showing that everything's going fine. So why on the stream does it not look like it's going fine? Give it. Who knows? Maybe I'm looking at nothing. Maybe it is going fine. Maybe I just can't tell. Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into getting a second monitor to put the stream on the a monitor so I can view that while. Who knows? Maybe it's just an internet connection. Because look at that. Jeez. GZPs. Well, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is just a sign that if people are here and can hear me, thank you. I guess this will also be the end of the YouTube video. So if anyone watched all of this, thank you there as well. You know, this was probably hours. Yeah, it's a good point to end because I want to mess around with cutting that YouTube video and uploading it. So yeah, I'll be looking to do this every Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, very normal business hours. So I guess, I don't know, if you work at a bank or a normal 8 to 4 job, you can put me on in the background and you know, there. Or, you know, that's very sumptuous. I've never this is the first time in my life I'm working 8 to 4 hours. I'd spent over a decade not doing that. So who knows? Catching me on the YouTube or VODs anyway. But I am out. I should be streaming on Monday, and I, whenever possible, will upload the VODs to YouTube. So, which I'm gonna experiment with right now. So, thank you to the people who came out for the stream and who are watching this on YouTube. Bye.